isn't a place where the homeless can be. So you see them gathering around, and I think that's a problem for some people. It's certainly not a solution for those who are unhoused, unsheltered. So we started brainstorming about what a day drop-in center would look like. And thanks to the expertise on this group, particularly I need to acknowledge Elaine from Community Action, CCA, and her experience in other places in creating these kinds of things. And what we came up with as a concept paper is not just a place for people to hang out, but a place where services can connect with the people who need those services right on location. Right now we have a lot of services that are available. Some are in Warrenton, some are in Astoria, some are maybe in Seaside. But it puts the onus on the people who are homeless and sometimes without transportation to go from here to there to here to there and back again. And as the story unfolds, and it's never a simple story. So we really saw the opportunity of a day drop-in center as a gathering place, a place where people who are homeless can be and have community and interaction and support from the agencies coming to them and meeting them there on the spot. So lots of opportunities for classes, for information sharing, for connections, for case management, all of the things that homeless are needing to get off the streets, to find housing, to find the support that they need to turn their lives around. And I think several of the people who are here today can tell their success stories, and there are success stories, and that's what this is all about, is really creating more success, more avenues for success for those who are facing difficulties in their lives. I think I'm just going to stop there. There'll be more that I can add about what we've learned from other centers, but let me share the microphone.
And you created a proposal. Does anybody need a copy?
Yeah, and again, that was leveraged from the work of Elaine Bruce. So, really acknowledge her expertise. And there are several people in the room who have been meeting as part of this group. I guess the one thing that I wanted to add is I used to be a mediator in Southern California, so I've got this mantra about win-win, so I'll pass buttons around. But, you know, justifiably, I think there is a concern about, you know, if we do this, they will come. And, you know, I don't think they're going to come from South America, but, you know, maybe from
the caravan. Oh my God.
But what I want to emphasize is that
I think we have one.
from our perspective anyway, the intent is great at a drop-in center, but the idea of co-locating with the social services and getting support for folks and building that trust. I know when Mel and I wandered around the streets and talking to folks, trust is a big issue. And if you're shoulder to shoulder, over time that trust can get developed. And that's what we're hoping, and we glean that from other drop-in centers, that yeah, there might be somebody coming from Portland, but I think we'll be getting a lot of people, you know, helping into helping hands, supporting into helping hands, into housing through CCA, all of these other services, that it'll be a net win-win for everybody. And that's my big mantra.
Well, and I think the point of view that I could give on this is a little bit about my story and where I come from. I was homeless for over 25 years in multiple states from the age of 13. And I've been just about at every soup kitchen, every emergency shelter between Pensacola, Florida, and Seattle, Washington. There's a point that comes between the way that people viewed me and the way that I viewed them. And several times people would sit in front of me and tell me what they believed that I needed. And I would tell them, you know, the truth is you have no idea what's going on in my head. I needed mental health services, I needed health insurance, I needed to quit using drugs, yeah, I needed to quit drinking, yeah, I needed all of those things. But at the very end, in this county here, 17 years ago, I went to every door I could find, said, look, I'm broke, I'm homeless, I'm addicted to methamphetamine, please help me. I tried to get food stamps, they told me I needed ID, I tried to get ID, they told me I needed wanted residence, but I had no money. And at that particular moment in my life, crime was a win-win situation. You see, I could commit a crime and follow the same lifestyle I was leading, but if I got arrested, I'd get 3 meals in bed in jail. You know, getting arrested became getting rescued. And I'll tell you, since that day, you know, then I came up with the idea of Thugs Off Drugs. I'm not sure if some of you remember that or not, but I started that. I opened up a big building down on the highway and talked about not in my backyard. People were lined up down the street to say not here. But we held on, and people needed to change their lives and have an opportunity to do that. We're still lacking resources in this community. I got new teeth on Friday, by the way. I had meth mouth for years, and Friday I got my new teeth, so if I'm slurring a little bit or talking like Leonard Nimoy, let me know. But what I want to tell you is that we're still lacking resources. Why we have Helping Hands, why we have the Warming Center, why we have the resources in this community we are still not in touch with the people who need us the most. We are still not providing services for the people who need us the most. And we need to know a little bit more about it. And I think that opportunities for us to have a drop-in center is a great idea. I don't know what that noise is. Is it my teeth?
It's Roger. It's Roger.
Oh, it's Roger. Anyway, if you need real-time data from Clatsop County, I have it. If you've been unsheltered in this community in the last 15 years, chances are that you've been referred to the door of our organization. Now, why we offer resources for a person who's willing to be sober, who's willing not to break the law, who's willing not to be argumentative, we will fight for you and we will help you. But I can tell you, being on the other side of that, that there were times that I wasn't capable of doing what I offer today. There's a gap there, and we look at people sometimes and we say that you're a bad person, but the truth is good people go through bad situations and we react wrong. And you know, I just became an ambassador on the coast for a thing called Shelter Box. It's a Rotary provides these tents and these boxes to places that have natural disasters, where they bring these tents in and they set them up for people. And the beginning question that they asked this week was, what would you do if you lost everything? That's a serious question. Could you imagine? I mean, I would say close your eyes and imagine this, but could you imagine not being able to trust or believe or know where your next meal comes from, know how you're going to stay warm, know how you're going to get treated with somewhat respect? And that's what we need to ask ourselves, is how can we provide resources to people who don't trust? I was one of them. And I think that we need stuff like the drop-in center so we can have a connection between people who love unconditionally, build a little bit of trust, and then maybe we can find a little bit more data that we need to figure out what resources we can provide.
I'm sorry, I came in late. Who are you and what organization are you?
I'm Alan Evans from Helping Hands.
Okay.
So I'd like to hear from someone like Willie or Kurt or Vern. Somebody want to be next? Share your story. Can you come up here, Willie?
No, I think my voice is loud enough, everybody's gonna hear me.
Hey, Willie.
My name's William Earl Willingtown. I showed up down here. Sorry, I get emotional.
It's okay.
I showed up down here about 5 years ago. I'm disabled. Took me 8 years fighting for my disability, fighting with the government. told me to go to school, even though I was living in government housing. They, oh, you live in government housing, well, you can only go 8 credit hours. Excuse me, the government told me to go to school, I gotta do 12 to get grants. Sorry, you can't go to school. I had to give up everything I had, okay, to move out here and try to start all over. Being empty bellies helped me, okay? CCA also helped me. They turned me into the VA housing, who helped me. I'm not the typical homeless, okay? I was homeless in Portland for a while. I worked with other agencies out there. I cooked for them. I volunteered to work. Having been homeless and having seen what's out there, it's not easy when you're somebody like me trying to get back on your feet. And that's what I've done. And I support a drop-in center. It is a resource that is needed. People have to have connections to the outside world. We don't live in just ourselves, okay? I could have used it if it was here, okay? But it wasn't here, and I had to do it on my own. Being empty bellies helped me, because they fed me. When I moved into VA housing, they brought food there for the vets. I got back on my feet, and I support them ever since. Having been homeless in Portland and here, I support a drop-in center 100%. Okay? It is needed. And having seen the homeless here, there seems to be a traveling group who go from city to city to city. Okay? They're not homeless. I've seen them pull up in brand new trucks, park in Fred Meyer's parking lot. They look homeless by the way they get out. They go out and they fly their flags, their signs. Okay, they're not homeless. But there are people out there that are like that. Okay? No matter where you go, it's here, it's in Portland, it's everywhere. But there are people like me. People I support. I'm a Vietnam vet. And a drop-in center, we need it. Every community needs one. Because there are good people out there that are homeless, like me, like Vern, like the people we help. Okay? That's what I gotta say.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Will. You know, it's different from me.
Did you guys know Willie started a Christmas fund all on his own for kids, for local kids? We spent $600 in cash on Christmas presents for homeless kids. That's Willie.
But I also donate a $100 gift certificate every month, and
He's Filling Empty Belly's only financial reoccurring donor, and he's been doing that for 3 years.
because they helped me, I helped them.
Way to
So,
pay
you know,
forward,
a drop-in center it'd be so great.
Good job, Willie. Good job.
People that are leaving the warming shelter and helping hands at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's kind of part of the rub of this situation.
Now, one of the things that I want to say is that as we've talked with some people in the community, particularly those who don't have direct access to those who are homeless, there are stereotypes about who the homeless are that fit various categories, and freeloaders, and
Yes, there are.
they made a choice, therefore, we don't need to help them. Things like that I hear that are kind of disturbing. What I've found is that there are multiple communities among the homeless. There are the freeloaders, there are those who are taking advantage of the system perhaps from somebody's perspective. There are also those who are mentally ill. There are those who are Vietnam vets that were trained how to go over and fight, but not trained how to come back and live with their families and what they've done. There are people who are handicapped. There are people who are old and sick and couldn't afford rent as it went up. There are families, women who are escaping abusive situations with their children, on and on, multiple reasons and needs for support among the community. So I think just like any human community, the diversity is there and the different needs are there. There's also another home or drop-in center that we have in this town that I'm very familiar with, is the senior center. Not for homeless specifically, but for those who are of advanced age.
Easy on that.
I've been looking at some of their material, and one of the things that struck me when they were starting up is there's quoting some researcher that says that human beings need socialization, they need community, they need interaction with other human beings. And as we've seen with some of the senior populations that become isolated and handicapped, unable to get out, then health and physical and mental health both deteriorate. And I think that that is also true for those who are homeless, that are in the same risk category and also need that sense of community and interaction and positive, a safe place to be. When the laws of our country make it where it's illegal to exist anywhere, that presents quite a problem for people who don't have a legal place to hang out. So I think that the day drop-in center is an opportunity to meet some of these multiple needs and bring resources to people.
Could you bring up the senior center? Is there any representative from the senior center here? Yeah, one of the things I've heard with that is, it's age 55, 60 on up, and then $20 to get in the door.
A year.
To get in the door. So one of the things I've heard is folks 60 plus, if you don't have $20, and you appear to be homeless, you're probably not. As far as I know, there's not a way to get a waiver of that, or work it off, or overcome the barrier. I think everything you're talking about is overcoming a barrier to entry into mental health, entry into substance abuse treatment, entry into a variety of things.
Yeah, just for the record, I appreciate what you're saying, but it's actually $20 to become a member, but you don't have to be a member to go in and use quite a bit of the facilities.
Is that true? Is that true? You're from, you with the senior center?
I understand there's some debate on the board about if it's gone both ways.
If you appear, maybe not clean, just coming in with a backpack, apparently homeless, really not welcome.
You might not want to necessarily take advantage of all of the benefits that are for those who are
Certainly.
members, but there are, like say, if you see the diner, you pay to take advantage of these services.
So can I piggyback on what you were talking about the realistic issues that we face in our community? We've been gathering data on every person who's been shelterless and have been referred to our organization at one point or another, and we've been collecting a lot of data. And I could probably put a little bit better of a perspective on Clatsop County. In the last year, 1,231 homeless, shelterless people have been referred to our organization. I'm going to give you some stats here so you can understand exactly what we're up against. General demographics, 36% are male, are female, 64% are male. 88% is head of household, 8% are veterans, by race, ethnicity, by age group, 26 to 55, 64%, 56 and older. We had an 18% increase in seniors needing assistance into our organization this last year, and a 30% increase in families needing assistance.
Why?
I'm gonna give you some other stats here. Picture ID, 42% of the people do not have a picture ID. 64% don't have a driver's license. 36% don't have a social security card. If you don't have a social security card and picture ID, you cannot get employment. Currently employed, 75% of the people who have been referred to us were not currently employed. 16% do not have health insurance. 19% are on SSDI. They own a vehicle, birth certificate, food stamps, but we're gonna get to the tough stuff here now. So every person who comes and gets referred to our agency does a full intake. We ask a series of questions so we can gather the data to know exactly what obstacles a person faces to re-enter society. These are people in Clatsop County. Chronically homeless. 32% of the people who walk through our door have been homeless more than twice in the last year. 40% have some sort of an alcohol or a drug issue. Correctional status. 17 years ago, this number was 95%. The face of homelessness has changed in the last 10 years. 19% of the people who come to our door have a criminal history. That's a staggering number. Here's the one that just blows me away. 24% of the people who walk through our door have been diagnosed with a mental illness. Our studies are showing right now, 5% of those people have been treated. Think of that. Think of not being able to access the stuff that you need to be okay. And 16% are victims of domestic violence. I just wanted to kind of put a little bit of a picture or a face. And just to let you know that every single number we have here is based on a real person and their file and who they are. So every single drill down number we keep in this system that puts a face on this is an actual person who has been on these streets.
Do you have any data to show how long they've been in the area?
I don't.
We've done surveys on that.
Yeah.
And?
Well, we did surveys, I think 2 in the last year, because we were having some criticism that we were bringing people in because of our program. And down the line, our surveys showed that we were consistently feeding local people that have been here for 5 years.
We asked that question on intake as well, and
Yeah.
we had the same
Yeah,
issues with people saying that we were attracting more
Right.
people, and
It's not true.
the majority of our guests have been here for over a year.
See, the majority of the people that I see come in panhandling, driving new trucks, and they look like trash when they come in. But they park their new trucks at Brad Myers, pull out their signs, go out their speed corners. This is not our typical homeless though.
That's not who the service is.
It's not,
Correct.
and
Correct.
also
Okay.
understand that everybody getting referred to our agency has been referred by another agency. And they
Correct.
have spent some time in this community to be able to reach our door. You have to be referred from somebody else or another agency in the community, and there are community ties to nearly every single person. Every now and then, we get a person who is running from a DV situation that we will work, we got 12 facilities, we house 250 people a night in 4 counties. So, in most cases, if you reach our door and you're coming in to get resources from us, you have ties to the community.
So we're gonna hear from Kurt, right now.
Hi, my name's Kurt. Just kind of wanted to say what my situation was. Mine comes from addiction, and I was down and out, gave up on absolutely everything. And those smallest things, the hope, the people there for me when I needed, filling empty bellies was there. The people in the community, different people, businesses that just say hi to, made a big difference in my life and made me more able to stand up. A year ago, I would not be here, guaranteed. And it's all through the support system of people around here. It's not just one organization. I come from a little town called Elsie, outside of Seaside. A long career of carpentry. And then drugs and alcohol got a hold of me where I just gave up everything and came to Astoria. I mean, this has been, I went to alternative school here in Astoria. And I found a very tight-knit community of local people that kept me afloat. If I did not have this group of people, I would not be here today. Filling empty bellies. I've known of Thugs Off Drugs since way back when. And I just wanted to let people know that it is very much needed, very important, and don't know if it helps out any, but that's where I came from. And it's very nervous, hard for me to talk, but I felt I had to say something. Thank you.
We had a question from Joan.
Alan, are the 12 plus people that you said the agency?
Yeah, I just want to say we're also lucky in this community with the policing that's here. I think it was just this last week, I was in the library where I spent a lot of time for the internet, and a lot of homeless in the library, and just Kenny was in there, and the reaction when Kenny was there, and I know one person, kind of ran across the room and said, "I love you, Kenny." And it's very unique. And also, there was a person on the street that I couldn't figure out how to help, and the chief of police, Jeff, I mean, how many communities does the chief of police give out a cell phone number to basically everybody? And, I called him up, and he spent 15 minutes on the phone with me as we were trying to brainstorm what to do about this. And so this is unique.
And they're here today.
Yeah, and they're here today.
So one of the things that I want to address is some issues in the community around having homeless or a drop-in center in their community, in their neighborhood. There's some concerns about congregating and trash and things like that. The warming center has had this issue, had to address this issue through its development and developed a good neighbor agreement. And I think now there's good relationships with the neighbors. There isn't the trash around, there aren't the needles and the feces and all of that stuff being found, because the warming center volunteers and staff and homeless patrol the area and clean it up. Just this week, Rick and I visited a place in Portland called Join. It's a drop-in center. They have a different kind of neighborhood agreement. This is with their clients, with their guests. They say, please be a good neighbor. And they have a map showing their neighborhood. And they have a set of guidelines, not just within the center itself, but in the neighborhood surrounding. No drinking or drug use. No illegal activity or hostile behavior of any kind. No camping, either with a bedroll or in a vehicle. You may not hang out on Joint's property before opening hours or after closes. No parking or hanging out in the parking lot to our east, in the businesses surrounding the property. And so this is guidelines for the clients to be good neighbors, not just the relationship with the neighborhoods of the neighbors of the organization. And I think that this really helps to create a more welcoming environment and supportive environment when there's mutual respect there.
One other thing that I really enjoyed about those folks is the staff that were there, when they referred to